Hello, friends, family, followers, and guests. Thank you for dropping in for a few minutes. I was thinking about the identifiers, the things that sometimes we wear as expressions of ourselves. And I thought about the hats I've worn over the years. Of course, underground in the coal mine, I wore a hard hat, a miner's hat. And after getting out of the military, I wore a army hat. While I was doing black powder shooting, I had a unique hat that was made out of what looked like a beaver hide. It was actually a nutria, and the mountain men that knew me, they asked me what kind of rat I was. And my beard was a dark, sullen red, and it looked the same color as the hat. So I put the hat on. The face would fold down over my eyes, and my whole face, it would look pretty rough. And I'd march in parades and just scare the crap out of kids sometimes. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, I'm looking over here. I have an army hat. I like to wear it because it represents an oath I made when I was a young man, and I've always valued my word. I try to keep it, and I made an oath, and because of that oath, I have a lot of contempt for an awful lot of people in these United States. They pay lip service, but to stay away from the political any more than I just touched on, I enjoy wearing this hat. And something new's happened the last few years. People actually say, thank you for your service. But I have another hat that I wear that this year I didn't get to wear. And it really kind of struck me how much pleasure and joy I've gotten out of wearing this hat. It's only for a short while of the year, but I've had an opportunity to impact people's lives and just have a lot of fun. Probably 2 weeks ago, I had stopped in at a restaurant, and here in Mesa, Arizona, some of the restaurants are open. And this family got out. They were going into the restaurant. We had gotten out, and on my side, Karen was driving, and little girls, probably maybe not even 4, but I think she could have been, come running up to me with her arms out, great big smile, waddling, and her mom stopped her, which is good, yelled at her, and I did too. I went, stop. I recently tested negative again, but even so, I don't want to be responsible for the infecting of others. I wear my mask because we're required to, otherwise I wouldn't. I know I've studied the science, and the mask is a joke. In fact, Fossey, or whatever his name is, just said a couple of days ago, you should wear 2 masks. Unless you're wearing an N95 or a specialty situation, your mask doesn't do anything for you. But anyway, so back to the hats. My wife made me a Voyager's hat. I'm getting back into black powder a little bit. I certainly can't shoot like I used to, but it's fun. It's not about the shooting. And so I've enjoyed the Voyager hat, and I've gone to a couple of shoots. It's really been fun because she actually beat me at one of them, tied me in another one, and we went out shooting with her son, who just recently got back from Kuwait a 3 days ago, and she beat me in that as well, with her gun, I might add. So that was interesting. But back to the hats. Karen also made me a hat that I can wear during the holiday season when I'm not wearing my Santa hat that goes with the spirit of it. We had made a bet, and it was on an NFL game. We didn't watch it, but we just bet on who would win. and her team won, whatever team it was, I don't know. And so the bet was that she would make me 3 Voyager hats, or in the alternative, I would buy her a gun. So the gun she beat me with the other day is the gun that I bought her as a result of losing the bet. And I've had other people over the years tell me that they would make me Voyager hats without getting into the personalities, of course. None of them did. Not that I'm not appreciative of family and friends, but Karen performed on her bet. And so, I'm excited. We're going to a rendezvous in a couple weeks. And for those of you who are locked down and you have crazy in your lives, for those of you who are in Oregon, sorry about that. I think about the hats being a symbol, an outward symbol of where inside, internally, our heart's really at sometimes. Now I'm remembering a situation where we were driving into town from out at Drina Lake, and we come over the little hill, the final hill as you come into Cottage Grove. We were just coming over that, and we could see what looked like a confrontation, and I slowed down to watch it. There was this guy out there, he was probably early 40s, and there was 2 young men out there, and they were yelling at him. There was 2 girls. It turned out over time, I learned this after the fact when the cops showed up, but anyway, the 2 girls were his daughters. The young guys were going to take the daughters out. He said no, and one of them asked him, and I heard this, I saw the confrontation developing. We pulled over so we could look down. We were on the rise right there, and it was a White House down off the right as we were coming back. Anyway, he's having a verbalization with the one young, probably man. He looked like he was 18 or 19, so the other one. And as he's talking to him, the second guy sucker punched him and knocked him into the fence, and the 2 of them jumped on him, and they were wailing on him. And he was covering up, and one of the girls jumped on one of the guy's back, put her arm around his neck, and jerked back and pulled him off. And he grabbed the other one, and they're all cussing and swearing, and the other girl was in the process trying to step in, and when he grabbed the older guy, the father, grabbed that guy by the shirt front, and he's laying there trapped in the fence a little bit, and he says, "You son of a bitch, it's my turn." Whack! Whack! Hit him twice, and the kid's just reeling. He rocked back. The other young man broke free, and he's coming over. The old man kicked him in the crotch. And the kid bent over, kneed him in the face. The kid went over. He was almost out. The 2 other cars had stopped, and they were watching what was going on. This was in the days before cell phones. I don't know who called the cops. Maybe somebody in the house had called the cops. But we could hear the sirens, Cottage Grove Police. We could hear the sirens, and the kid that's on the ground's trying to get up. The other kid, I looked back, the other kid, I think the old man had hit him one more time. And I say old man, he's a lot younger than I am now. But anyway, make a long story short, he kicked the kid in the ground on the head, and the kid was out like a light. He was done. The other kid, he gave him a vicious punch right square in the mouth. I mean, you could see the blood splatter around his mouth and his nose. And the kid kind of rocked away, and he reached around, he grabbed him. He hit him 3 or 4 more times so fast you wouldn't believe it. And one of the girls started yelling, "Dad, that's enough, that's enough." And he turned loose the kid. The kid went in the ground. He kicked him viciously in the ribs. Viciously. And the cops started pulling up, and he stepped away, and he just held his hands up. And we could hear him. And I had the kids in the car. We'd been up at the lake. I think I said that. We could hear him. And the guy calmly and peacefully, he said, they attacked me on my own property after I ordered them off. He says, I want you to arrest them for trespass. And one of the officers said, we will talk to him. So they took the kid that was still reasonably alert down to the right hand, my right on the property as I was looking at it. And one cop is questioning him, and the other cop's trying to help the kid on the ground who's out. The ambulance shows up. We didn't see the end of it, but we drove away. It reminded me of a story my dad told me. It was actually a joke. But he said, he goes, Donnie, we were out on a job talking and doing whatever we do. He says, Donnie, he says, you know the difference between an old bull and a young bull? I said, nope. He says, so imagine this. These two bulls are up on the hill, and there's a bunch of cows down there. The young bull, he's prancing around, Dad, let's go down and screw one of those cows. And the old bull, he says, no, he says, you run down there and screw one of those cows. He says, I think I'll walk down there and screw them all. So I'm changing the direction of this whole thing. It's going to be interesting. I just learned yesterday. I don't watch NFL. I don't participate in it. Ever since Kaepernick took a knee and those gutless wonders, and to kind of close the circle, I made my commitment in the military to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. I see what Chuck Schumer and the Dems are doing for political, it makes me sick. But back to Kaepernick. Since the NFL became gutless, ballless wonders, and their people get paid a whole bunch of money so that they can go out and protest what I had friends and family live and die for, I don't have much use for them. And there's nothing about the entertainment value of a football game I have to see. It's not going to happen. Tom Brady, I think he's 43 this year. I read an article either yesterday or the day before. And the young guy that he's up against, I don't remember what his name is. It doesn't matter. I don't really care. Made a comment about how it was going to be a privilege to play against Tom Brady. The slant of the article was, well, Tom Brady's old. Sometimes the old guys can surprise you. Having got into that realm of what we might call older, recently having to chew a few nitros and have other conditions with my heart going on, I've thought a little bit about what I get to leave behind. And I have 5 sons and a daughter. And each one of them is a joy unto himself or herself in my heart. I have tried to instill my sons with love for their country and to honor their word. And to some degree, I've been successful. At this point in my life, none of my kids are druggies. They all have responsible jobs, or they're otherwise medically retired. They own their homes. They are live, productive citizens. They don't go stand down on the street corner and smoke. They don't sucker punch people in riots. They don't go wreck other people's property. And for those of you who have those kinds of people in your lives, I can't help but wonder where you failed. I know that's not fair, because we don't have control over our kids, sometimes even before they get out of the home. 2 of my sons I kicked out. But I think in those terms, and I wonder about what I look around and see the moral decay. The bottom line is, there isn't anybody I'm going to bet with on the game that's coming up sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, whenever it is, 4 weeks, I don't know. It'll be the last game of the season, but I am going to look forward to seeing what the score is and whether in his 10th Super Bowl, just unheard of, Tom Brady wins again at 43 years of age. I hope all of you enjoyed this and that you have an absolutely great rest of the week, and 2021 can be better for all of us. I really hope and pray that. Good luck, and until the next time, make it so.